Hi everyone. This is a second introduction to this video today about replacing broken zippers in jackets, sweaters, and sweatshirts. And it's actually a very simple technique to use on a simple garment like this, or like the one I'm wearing, that's just the zipper is just in there with no flaps involved. Unfortunately, the jacket that I did the whole video on is much more complex because it has a flap in it that I tried to preserve. So just bear that in mind because the idea is really simple. Rather than ripping out the old zipper in your garment, which is a very difficult and time-consuming thing to do, instead of doing that, all you're going to do is remove the zipper teeth off the old zipper and then put a new zipper in behind. And one thing I wanted to share that does not show up well in the video, and I didn't realize it, is when you are sewing that zipper in and suddenly the zipper slide is in the way, all you have to do is drop your needle in the machine, lift your presser foot, and then get that slide out of the way. So I hope you'll go and continue to watch the video because really, this is a really good technique. Hi everyone, welcome to Scrap Happy New Studio, and what I'm sharing with you today is a hint that I've found an invaluable tool for repairing broken zippers in jackets, sweaters, and sweatshirts. If you've ever tried to remove the zipper from a down jacket, you know how difficult that is and how fraught with danger it is because it's so easy to actually rip the garment and cause trouble. The good news is you don't have to remove the old zipper. You just have to remove the zipper teeth. So on a jacket like this zipper isn't broken, so I can't demo on this. In this jacket, what you would do is take what it takes to replace a zipper is a really good seam ripper, nice and sharp, and I love Clover seam rippers for this. And you would insert your seam ripper here. See, this is a very simple jacket. The zipper is just put in like this. So what you would do is take your seam ripper and just rip right up here next to the seam. And then after that's done, after the zipper is removed, then you just sew the new zipper in behind like this. So this isn't fine. It's hard to see without removing the old zipper. So this is not fine sewing because your zipper tape is going to show on the back, but it makes your garment nice and functional again. And a really good thing about using this technique on a knit like a sweatshirt or a sweater is by leaving your zipper tape in there, that seam is stabilized. And if you've ever done a zipper on a sweater or sweatshirt, you know having that seam stabilized is a really big deal. So to do this process, you need to buy a new separating zipper the same length as the one you're replacing. And when you're looking at the measurement, the 24 inches in this case, they're measuring from the end of the teeth to the top of the teeth, which will help you figure that out. So this jacket would be simpler to do this on, but the jacket that actually has the broken zipper is my friend Kathy's, and hers is a little more complex for two reasons. There's a shield here, a shield to keep your wind from blowing in, and the zipper itself has this little folded edge over that we don't want to screw up. So I've started removing this zipper, and what would help on this, which I'm going to do when I finish the rest of it, is if you take your seam and put it under your presser foot to hold it down, it will serve as a sewing bird or a third hand, and that helps you rip this out. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing this, and probably you all know this, but when you have a seam ripper like this, you want the ball side down to open up your seam. So you might get it started with the top, but then you just grab this and start pushing along here. And you can see that's happening. So I'm going to stop the video here and go put this under my machine and finish ripping this zipper out, and then I'll be right back. Actually, I realize I can demo that by just changing the camera here. So I have the jacket under the presser foot to hold it nice and taut for me. And then I can take the seam ripper ball side down and just rip this along here. You can see how it, well, I don't know if you can see it, but you want to do this as close to the tape as you can. Well, so, okay. And I wanted to share in this instance, it was easier to do this from this side with the ball side down without worrying about that little flap. So sewing this in the jacket from the on the side without the flap is pretty straightforward. You just pin or baste or wonder clip the zipper in behind, and then using a zipper foot, or and I usually would just use a straight stitch foot on this, and then just sew right down here, right next to the teeth, making sure you don't get, well, you can get too close to the teeth, but I have not had that happen. So I'm going to go and sew this, and then I'll be right back to show you what we're going to do on the other side. Because this fabric is so slippery, I probably should have basted this zipper in first, but what's helping me to keep it aligned correctly is to use some kind of an awl, you know, a pin or people use a stiletto or a blunt big needle, a knitting needle, something to help me get the thing under the presser foot. And you probably know this, but when you get down to that zipper pull, kind of lift your presser foot up and get that pull out of the way so that you can continue sewing. So as I said earlier, on a simpler jacket, if it didn't have this flap, you would just put this in behind and sew it on your way easily, making sure that you match all this up carefully. But because I have this flap, what I'm going to do, let's make sure I have this down right. I'm going to sew this in upside down first. And I'm going to have to do some careful measuring then. And then I'm going to turn this back. And it's going to be fun by that plastic here. But then I'm going to, after I sew it in upside down, then I'm going to turn it back and try to sew right next to this inside, in fact, maybe on top of that flap here, so that the zipper, you know, all you'll see is the teeth and not any other way. So I'm going to go do some basting, and I will come back and show you how I'm progressing on that. When you do a video like this live, you have to kind of figure out how you're going to do it on the fly. Okay, what I'm thinking is going to work well is to pin with my teeth right against that seam edge there, because then when I flip it back to do that second sewing, I'll be able to do it right along this line here with this out. Let's see, wait a minute. Let's see if I've got thinking that through correctly. Maybe I need to get that out of the way. Yeah, okay. That's not good. No, I guess my thinking is okay on that. So if I sew it here, and then I'm just going to turn the zipper back and sew here and sew that down. That'll leave the teeth free. I'm hoping. So we're going to try that. Well, I basted this in to see if my idea was right, and I think my idea will work, but I'm stitching in the wrong place. So, I sewed down there. I need to move all this over here more so that when I fold this back, I still need this much because I need something to be able to stitch into here, but I don't want all this exposed. I'd like to get this over to there. So I'm going to go and redo this. Well, this is a real life video, so I'm going to have to do some ripping here, but my idea is going to work. I think I'm going to be able to, that'll be an acceptable amount of zipper tape, for a wearable jacket in here, but you'll see that I didn't get the ends lined up correctly. But fortunately, I just basted this, so I'll unbaste it and rebaste it and then resew it. If you've watched to the end of this video, you can see that I did get the zipper in, but I would like to caution you, don't choose a zipper with a flap, a jacket with a flap, to be your first replacement zipper. Trying to preserve that flap made everything much more difficult. One of the problems I had was my tape folding back idea was good, but if I got the tape too close to the zipper, it got stuck in the zipper. So I had to trim that away. And so, or the other thing you could do is when you're replacing a jacket that does have a flap like that, you might want to ask the owner if you can simply remove the flap so that you can put the zipper just behind, like on the jacket I'm wearing. This is an easy job. Okay, well, I hope this proves useful to you. Bye.